Now, let me just pause a moment. There are different kinds of growth. I'm very aware that in a church of our size, we can have growth in numbers, and some of that is good. But there is some growth which is what is often called transfer growth, which is an existing Christian who happens to move into the area and comes in. That's great. We're not going to turn anyone away like that. But that, I don't think, is what Jesus was talking about. He's not talking about, I want you to grow by amalgamating all of the already existing Christians. Jesus is saying, I want you to grow through new birth, through souls. Are you with me? Yes? Which actually means that we have to tell people about Jesus. I wonder how many opportunities you've had recently to just say something about your faith. They don't have to be huge. You can say it in the checkout run at Tesco's. All sorts of places. John has an amazing ability. Now, I may be letting you into a secret here. If we ever go in somewhere and he picks up petrol, he will, very often, I very rarely go and pay for it, bless him, he will go and pay for the petrol. And I watch to see how many seconds it takes before the lady taking the money smiles. Am I worried about my husband chatting her up? No. My husband is treating her like a human being. And it doesn't take long. John does it as naturally as breathing. And I think, by 10 seconds, she's smiling. Because suddenly, the whole person, when you acknowledge them as a human, lights up. There are more opportunities to speak for Jesus than we ever give ourselves credit for. It doesn't have to be, have you read the whole of the Pentateuch this morning, to a non-Christian. As Keith so ably reminded us this morning, they're lost. But they're going to stay lost unless we tell them. Yeah? So the fruit that Jesus is talking about, it's not transfer growth, it's the growth of new birth. And that's the stuff we need to be looking at. But there's also a quantity of fruit. It's really nice to grow big in terms of numbers, but it's actually much more effective to grow with quality. Yes? Yeah. Now, these are nice grapes. They're wonderful. They're really nice. But they're full and they're lush. Little tiddly ones might not have quite the same, actually they're very sweet as well. So I'm not used to such sweetness. What I want to see is growth, which is a new life in Christ developing. Yeah, that's what growth is. So it's not just little bitty bits of growth, fullness of growth. That's what we're looking for. That's the kind of bunch of grapes you can actually use. It can be turned into grape juice or a nice Merlot if you fancied it. But when we see fruit in the kingdom, we have to remember that we are the branches. We are not the vine. We are the branches. So we have to be rooted in the vine, bring up the nutrients from the vine and the soil that has been prepared by the gardener, and be the conduit to the fruit. Yes? We are no longer fruit. We are branches. Are you getting this? So often we act as if we are fruit. Come on, keep feeding me. Keep feeding me. I'll just sit here. You keep feeding me. We are not supposed to be fruit. We are. Are you getting this? Forget being a consumer Christian. You are no longer fruit. You are a branch. And the only thing that a branch has to do is get the stuff from there to there. Which kind of means you're a bit like a conduit. Yes? A conduit. A tunnel. Trouble is, we get quite clogged up with stuff. Clogged arteries are a problem in the human body. Clogged gutters are a problem on a house. Spiritual clogs are very problematic because you have all the potential to be the branch and it isn't going into fruit. And what happens? You end up dropping off. You're too full. Nothing can actually be achieved. As branches, our main role is to encourage growth in others. You got that? The conduit encouraged the growth in others. That means we support them while they grow. Think of the grapes on the end of that branch. Yeah? They're growing, great. They're getting a bit heavy, so the branch has to make sure it keeps it flowing until that bunch of grapes is ready. Your job as a believer is not to cause growth, because the vine is Jesus, the gardener is God. You support while growth happens. Are you getting this? That means we have healthy mentoring relationships. We make ourselves available to answer questions of brand new Christians. We keep pointing them to the Word. And we encourage kingdom life focused on the source of all life, which is Christ himself.